Hi, everyone. We're just having a couple technical difficulties. Ellie, I can't seem to hear you. Here, yeah, there we are.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. So here we all are. Wonderful to see you, Mariska. Sneha, am I saying that right? Nantel. If I say anyone's names wrong, please let me know. Hello, Tilly. And as we all land in, I invite you to take a breath with your body and just check in. Do you have what you need? Do you want there's going to be an invitation for you to journal, and if that feels right for you, to have a pen and paper, maybe a cup of tea. And yeah, to really let this hour be like an hour retreat for you, sacred space. Take care of your precious body. How can you support it more? How is your temperature? Hi, Mary in Ohio. Hey, Josephine. And yeah, if anyone else wants to say where you are, be wonderful. Laura, great to see you in Alicante in Spain. Hi, Helen. Helen in the UK. Wonderful. Hey, Jerry Ann in New York. La 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 for New York. My sister's near there. Hey, Emma in Heptonstall. I love that you're in Heptonstall. Hi, Helga in Denmark. Hi, Dawn in the UK. Hey, Agnes in Ireland. Joanne in Sheffield. Kristen. So wonderful that you're all here. Victoria in Oregon. Claire in the Isle of Wight. Michaela in Hanover in Germany. Kim in Oban in Scotland. So wonderful that you're all here. It's so great. There's a lot of us on now. So again, if you've just come on, just checking in, anything you might need for this session, maybe pen and paper, maybe a cushion, a blanket, a little bit of splattering of self-love. And hey, Deshanta in Toronto. Yeah, and maybe we're already a good few minutes in, so maybe, Moon, we should just go right ahead and say hi, introduce ourselves. Maybe you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here with all of you today, and I'm just really deeply touched by how all over the world we really are. So thanks for putting in where you're from, because it just really gives me a sense of our circle really spanning our beautiful planet. Yeah, and Ellie and I wanted to come here today to just reconnect with you all and to reconnect with the jewels and the seeds that have been planted in each of us and that we've all received from our time together in the council last week, and so that we could listen deeply to our hearts and share with each other our next steps. Sorry, those are my dogs. For our healing, and also answer any questions that any of you may have as you're sitting with the integration from the council week. And I think many of you know kind of my story of a decade-long illness and my healing path, and there's more about that in the Women's Wellness Circle. I've done some recovery videos, and also probably some of you have heard my interview, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that as well today.
Yeah, gorgeous. Thank you so much, Moon. Yeah. echoing what Moon said about our desire to come back and just gather with you all. It was such a wonderful week, and it's beautiful to see the momentum continuing in the discussion group. And I'm Ellie Paskell, one of the coaches for the Women's Wellness Circle. And very briefly, yeah, my body really started to ask for my attention about 14 years ago. And shortly after that, I just...
Oh, Ellie, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Alexis just said that the feedback is really hard for her. I think if you turn down your volume a bit, that should adjust that. Sorry, Alexis.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for saying. And I'll put my headphones right in, see if that helps as well. I hope that this is better. And yeah, I think that's a really good idea if Moon and I are muting ourselves when we're not talking. Yeah, thank you. I just got guidance from my inner guide to surrender everything about my life and follow the wisdom in my body. So that's what I did. And I moved through various conditions, post-traumatic stress disorder, working with chronic fatigue-like symptoms, and I've seen how this listening to my body has birthed a whole new existence for me. And now I'm honored to guide people to do the same. And so we'll go right into our just a short landing practice. Anyone who hasn't joined or joined as we were talking, the invitation is to really check in with your body now and see what's alive and see what you need, see where you are. So perhaps allowing the eyes to close if that's okay for you. Perhaps bringing a hand to the heart if that feels right for you. Noticing that contact. Noticing that you are here in a body and that body is breathing. And with your next breath, noticing those places in your body where you are supported by the furniture, the ground. And I invite you to let yourself be supported 10% more. And with your next breath, opening your awareness to the scores of women who are gathered here now, to the hundreds or thousands of women who will watch the replay and who are part of this sacred circle, who have gathered for the Women's Wellness Circle Council this year. And with your next breath, allowing yourself to know that you are part of this, that you, your energy, are felt and heard and appreciated as part of this circle. And with your next breath, just noticing your heart space, tuning in perhaps to what's alive there, and allowing this part of you to support you in affirming that whatever is real for you, whatever is alive for you now in your body, your emotions, your mind, your energy, is absolutely welcome. And that you are safe in this space to be exactly as you are. And with your next breath, I invite you to let whatever is real for you, whatever you feel, to take up 10% more space, if that's okay for you. Always knowing that you can bring your awareness back to those parts of the body where you are supported at any time if you need to reground, refind safety. Allowing your awareness to broaden out, to take in any sounds that you can hear. And I'm just gonna flow now into saying a bit about just what the next 45 minutes will hold. And I invite you, if it feels right for you, to keep the eyes closed. Or of course you can let them be open. Yeah. So I see a stretch from room, which reminds me to say that if there's any movement that your body wants, and if there's any sounding at any point that wants to come out of you, I invite it. This is a space for us all to check in with what's moving through after the council week. There was so much beautiful guidance and sharing and information, and the invitation is for you to tune in to what's still alive for you with regard to that, and how you might want to take any of the jewels that came in for you forward, and how you might want to do that lovingly. I know for myself, when there's a lot of guidance given, the part of me which really wants to do things well can feel quite full. And so my invitation is to not only nourish and keep hold of what's useful for you, but also to just release anything which is maybe held by a should in the mind. I should be doing this, just to let that go. And there's going to be a beautiful guided practice led by Moon to support you in really mining what's useful for you to hold on to. And there's going to be space for you to share what's coming up for you. There's going to be space for you to journal or reflect on what's coming up for you, if that feels right. There'll be space for any questions that you might have. And then also some space for us to share about the beautiful news that the special offer that came through in the council to join the Women's Wellness Circle membership community with some really, really beautiful bonuses is going to be available for another 24 hours after the end of this call, and we'll say a bit about that. So yeah, that's the structure. Have I said what I need to say, Moon?
Yeah, thanks, Ellie. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so we're going to begin a guided practice, but I also want to invite you that if you have a question that's burning right now, you can go ahead and type that into the chat box so that you can really clear your mind and clear your space for the guided practice. And we're going to have plenty of time for any questions or for any insights you want to share that you've been having as the week has been progressing. And so as part of the guided practice, there will be an invitation for journaling or for drawing. So if you want to engage in that, having some paper, markers, pencils, or crayons handy would be great. And you also really don't need to do that part. You can just stay sitting quietly, depending on what feels good and what's calling to you in the moment. So we'll begin just by finding a way of being at ease in our bodies right now. Whatever position that is for you, if that is sitting, standing, or laying down in bed, or even if that's walking, whatever position brings you some measure of ease in this moment. And so if it feels good, I invite you to close your eyes. And if you feel more comfortable with your eyes open, that's fine too. So we'll begin just by breathing together. All of us in this circle, all over the world, we'll breathe together 3 times, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And always during this practice, if there's anything that's uncomfortable for your body, for whatever you're going through right now, please give yourself permission not to do it, and to know that you're in here in the space with all of us, and the practice is being carried, and your practice is listening to your body and following what's good and what's right for you in this moment. And so we begin together, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And if you want to sigh and let your head move a little, just releasing. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And if it's available to you, we're going to do a brief hold cycle with the breath. Breathing in to the count of 5, holding to the count of 4 or 5, and exhaling to the count of 4 or 5. And we're going to do 3 cycles of that all together in your own time. And again, if this practice feels nourishing, great. And if not, just continue breathing. It's just a way to drop in and to regulate together in this moment. So inhaling, counting to 5. Holding, counting to 5. Exhaling, counting to 5. And continuing on your own for the next 2 cycles. And so we begin by taking our own seat, sending roots down deep into the earth, from the bottoms of our feet, from our tailbone, from our pelvis, just sending roots down deep into the earth, visualizing that or feeling that. Your roots pass through the bed or the chair or the floor beneath you, into the rocks, down through layers of sand and soil and water, deep into the center of the earth, traveling down, down, down to the center. When you reach the center, to the liquid magma that is there, just letting your roots expand into the warmth. Just feeling your body firmly planted right where you are. And then inhaling and inviting that warmth to travel up through your roots, all the way up through your roots. As the warmth begins to enter your body, melt just a little bit. And you welcome this warmth and this grounding, healing energy from Mother Earth as it fills your entire body. And if there are places that are tight, or painful, or achy, or don't feel so good, just inviting this magma healing energy from Mother Earth to bathe that area, around it, and if possible, in through it. Just welcome the healing. Nothing needs to change and nothing needs to happen. We're just opening ourselves to the healing energy of Mother Earth. And with your next breath, just allowing yourself to expand. Expand to the sky. Let all of your cells, all of your muscles, all of your bones, all of your thoughts and all of your feelings expand. Up and out in all directions. Fill the sky. And just inviting spaciousness of the sky. And with your next breath, bringing one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Just acknowledging your own body and acknowledging your own heart. Feeling yourself here in this space. And then expanding your awareness to include this circle, those of us who are here in this moment, feeling the circle that we are in together. And behind us is another circle of all the women who will be listening to the recording. And behind that circle is all of the women who attended the council. And around that is another bigger circle of all of the women alive on this planet today who are walking a path of healing. And we sit in these circles, inside circles, and we acknowledge each other. And we feel the power and the medicine of each of us on a healing path. And so in this place of feeling these circles within circles of support, we bring our attention to our own hearts. And we take some time to deeply listen and to ask the question, what is here for me today? And deeply listen to your own heart, to the textures, sensations, and the feelings. Perhaps you'll hear some words, perhaps not. And if you do hear some words and you feel called to write them down, or if you're given a picture and an image and you want to draw that, you're welcome to do so. You're also welcome to just stay and just listen. What is here for me today in this circle? And if you don't hear anything, that's okay. Just the act of deep listening is enough. Just inviting that deep listening. And then as you feel ready, taking in the wisdom of the council, the wisdom of all of your sisters here on this journey, everything you heard through your ears, you received in your cells and in the depth of your being in the last week that we've all shared together. Inviting one piece, one jewel, one seed to bubble up from the depths of your being, from the circle of support around you. And inviting that however it arrives, perhaps it bubbles up from deep within your belly and there's a jewel that rises up into your heart. And you feel it and see it. Maybe it has an appearance. For me, it's like a beautiful green emerald. Perhaps it arises in the space before you so that you can see it, or maybe you're holding it in the palm of your hand. Maybe there's many pieces that are clamoring for your attention and saying, oh, but this is so important, but that is so important. And that's fine. It's like, just let that settle. Like if you were to drop some gold nuggets or flakes into water and you watch them just settle down, allow that to subside and just be with that energy. And maybe your mind is saying, oh, but I heard Donna Eden say, and then I heard Sophie say, and that seemed really important. And it's like, let that all be here with you in the space. Perhaps they could appear like maybe you're in a beautiful clear lake and there's lily pads all before you, each with the lotus flowering, and perhaps on each one sits a jewel you've received from the council, and they might ripple out in the lake before you, and they're all there. And so whatever that is for you, continue with your journey and your connection with this. If there's many myriad jewels before you, just allow yourself, with one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, fully rooted and grounded in this circle we share together. Let yourself behold them all. And perhaps for you, there's this one jewel in your heart, or one jewel before you. And just listen to it, feel it, connect with it. And ask some questions. How shall I invite you into my life? And again, if you want to write or draw or just stay within the meditation, whatever serves you most. Perhaps you might say, I want to deepen my commitment to you today in this way. And you listen for what that way is. And if for you have that array of myriad of jewels on the lily pads before you, or however that appears to you, one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, inviting one of those to step forward to you and say, maybe saying, I see the value in all of you. I hear that many have gotten well using these methods. And in time, I may engage with each and every one of you. But for today, deeply listening to my own heart, I invite one to travel forward to me. And just see which one calls your attention in this moment. You don't have to be right. It doesn't have to be your tool for all time. It's just your tool for this moment. And as we stay here in this space together, just inviting the question, what is the deepest or most nourishing or most easeful seed for me to plant in my healing right now? What invites warmth? What bathes me? What feeds me? What do I feel excited about? What do I feel relaxed with? And just taking a couple more minutes to deeply connect with your own heart and with your own healing. And so we're going to begin to complete this time that we've been sharing with ourselves and with each other. And I'd like to invite you, we are just 2 days from the new moon, which is a really powerful time to plant some seeds and intentions for the next moon cycle. And so if you feel ready now, I'd like to invite you to really allow yourself to see and feel and sense this jewel that you are absorbing into your being from your time in the council. And allow yourself to place that or let it settle somewhere in your being, or if it feels better, somewhere in your surroundings. And really place that with the intention, like, this is my jewel for the next moon cycle, for the next 30 days. It's not quite the new moon today. this is my medicine and this is my healing, and I choose to drink deeply of it. And if you're not quite ready, if maybe that hasn't quite come to you yet, maybe you can form the aspiration that over the next 2 days, in your dreams or in your waking time, that will become clear to you. And this is just like a gentle, loving commitment and recognition, like this is my medicine right now. And if you feel called to finish this experience, to draw or to write or to draw the medicine of your jewel or of this experience, something that you can have with you, perhaps put up somewhere on the wall to remind you over the next moon cycle what your jewel is. And if drawing or writing isn't your thing, maybe just remaining within the meditation and just experiencing the essence of that jewel, if it's a practice or if it's an approach, allowing sort of like the concepts to melt away and letting the essence to just remain with you and to really drink that in for the next few moments. And so I know we're all in different timings right now, and if you're writing or drawing, please continue. If you feel ready to move towards questions and answers and sharing of experiences, we'll do that just by placing one hand on our hearts, one hand on our bellies, and just gently opening your eyes and taking in your surroundings and the room, and knowing that you're still very much in this circle with all of us together, and that this practice and this meditation is going to continue for you.
Thank you, Moon. That was so beautiful. So yeah, I see there's already some comments in the chat, which is wonderful. Now, we have the comment. I really like the idea of letting go of shoulds. Ellie, I often feel I have to do it all. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. And you're coming off as Galaxy Tablets. If you want to let us know what your name is, that would be gorgeous. Mariska says, I feel overwhelmed by letting all this love and kindness in. Feel a bit afraid to do so, but I can feel this love of the circle so strongly. Tears are flowing. I hear you, Mariska. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Shirley says, feeling love, sisterhood, and connection. Tears on my cheek. Thank you, Shirley. Mary says, this is my first web-based video meditation. It was wonderful. Thank you. Mary, you're so welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Dawn says, I feel this energy too, asking to release all blocks to me, being open to receive. Thank you, Dawn. That's so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And Mary says, my message received was to continue to learn about healing and share my healing gift. Beautiful. That's so wonderful that you feel that you're here to continue sharing your healing gift. That's just beautiful. Nantel Just thank you for being here. Thank you also, Nantel. Thank you for being. And Agnes says, what's a moon cycle? Then maybe you want to speak to that.
Yeah, so the moon cycle is just simply the cycle and the phases that the moon goes through. So the new moon is the beginning of the moon cycle, and that's when the moon is completely dark and not visible in the sky. And if that's something that you're not as tuned in with and you want to be, you can always Google, moon cycles 2019, and it'll show you the phases of the moon if that's something that you feel like you want to connect in with your practice. And so often people plant seeds or intentions for moon cycle, which is about 28 days from new moon to full moon and back. So yeah, and you're free to ask any more questions about that or anything else. In this time, we'd really love to just hear from all of you, anything you received that you want to share during this meditation, or any questions you have for your healing journey, or from anything from the council, steps forward, how you are in this moment, and so on. So Mara says, my message was unconditional motherly love for my inner child, and I felt my whole body soften and a gentleness come in.
Shanta says, I feel like my dark side is stirring and I want to heal the wounds of my inner teenager. Yeah. That's what has been stirring since the last, I'm wondering if you were going to say full moon, but I don't know what you were going to say. But thank you so much for sharing that. That's really powerful. Mariska says, my jewel that came up is the word life force, to connect with life force. The energy of nourishment and creation from Mother Earth will be my medicine for the next moon cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Ann says, there were so many beautiful jewels offered over the week of talks. I'm so grateful. For me, the one I hold on to is from Jen Evans, knowing that she fully healed to her vibrant and beautiful self after receiving the negative messages from within that she felt she was nothing. Since her talk, my inner child has come forth with a similar message. It is such a comfort to know that this will be an important part of my journey to healing. I am spending wonderful time with my inner child these days, nurturing her and listening deeply to her. She and her needs are my jewel for the next month or however long she wants center stage. Thank you for all the gems of the Women's Wellness Council. Thank you, Darianne. That's just so wonderful. And I feel like reading that has, I feel so happy reading that. Yeah.
Feels really good to be here together with all of you in this circle today. And I'm also really deeply touched by the connections and the support that has been happening in the discussion group.
Mm. So there's a couple more messages in the chat. So maybe Moon, if you maybe want to speak to those, and then we could move on to the next.
Yeah.
A little bit about the offer.
Yeah. So Claire says, my message was for me to leave behind old unhelpful patterns of behavior. Mm. And Mary says, another message I received was growth, how to invite it in, daily practice, working on removing fear. I visualized a mess of hair on my head, what could be called a rat's nest, tangled and fuzzy and unkempt, moving to smooth, untangled, and all pieces braided and controlled. This is how to conquer my fear, one step at a time. That's really beautiful, Mary. Thank you. Shirley says, my jewel is to continue to listen to my body. I've been doing this more intently this month, but sometimes when I do this, I feel like I'm letting the illness symptoms rule me, so it's hard. Yeah, Shirley, I really understand that. That challenge of listening to your body in a way that's nourishing, but also continuing to walk that edge towards healing. That is really challenging. Ellie, do you want to share anything about that from your experience?
Yeah, I really hear that, and I think for myself, it's always about coming back to a really gentle question, just what's the loving voice here? So I believe that when we listen to our bodies and when we give them space, what we see and what we notice, it's always a blessing to ourselves that we are noticing and seeing what's here. And then at the same time, sometimes the kind of perhaps unhelpful, perhaps it's negative self-talk, something that is, again, I'll speak from the I here, something unloving that's moving through me, which is perhaps creating a tension or perpetuating a symptom. And then in that space, it's always, I just will take a breath and want to take a breath of acknowledgement and allowing for that part of me, which is frightened or angry or self-deprecating, and let it know that it's been heard. And equally bring in what I sometimes call my higher self or my loving self, just to be with that part of me and say, and what's the loving guidance here? And it's always what feels flowing and right in my body. So it might be setting a boundary with that part of me, which is kind of unkind, and saying, I hear you, but I'm just going to put you in daycare for a few hours, and I'm going to tune into my loving inner voice, and I'm going to say, what do you want to do next? What is actually loving guidance here? And it might be, go and drink a cup of tea, and with every sip of it, I'm going to shower myself with reverence for exactly where I am in this moment. And then just see what flowers from there. Yeah.
Thanks, Ellie. So we have 2 more comments and then we can move to the next part. Dawn shares, I think it's important to also do things that bring joy too. Yes, definitely. Very important. And Ashanta, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, says, I've been struggling with moving through my healing journey in a non-cyclical world, and it is difficult to operate in a place that feels so hard to recognize when you've opened up to a different way of being. Yeah. I really deeply hear you. And I'd like to say more to that, but I am noticing the time. So I think we have to move, right, Ellie? Okay. But perhaps we can have deeper conversations with this in the circle. And Shirley says, thank you both so much for your suggestions. And Jerry Ann says, Ellie, your sensitive attention to your inner self is truly beautiful. I aspire to it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you everyone so much for your sharing, for your comments. Thank you again, Moon, for the beautiful space holding. I got so much from it. And yeah, now we want to share a bit about how, because the energy and the momentum in the discussion group has just continued to flourish, the decision was made that the special offer for joining the Women's Wellness Circle membership community would be extended. So it will be extended until 3 p.m. British Standard Time tomorrow. And we're just going to say a little bit more about what that is. And maybe, Moon, I don't know if you want to begin with the details or just a bit of your experience of witnessing the circle or anything.
Yeah, so we've reopened up both the special offer along with the annual membership, and also the opportunity to have just the interviews from the council, if that's something that you want. We wanted to give people one more opportunity for that. And in terms of, and all of the details are on the link, and you've probably heard them from what we've shared already. So I think I'll really just share from my heart that that for me, when I was really sick, I was really isolated, and there wasn't anyone around, and that was a pretty challenging part of my journey. And I've just been so deeply touched to be part of the Women's Wellness Circle for the last 6 or 8 months, something like that, since December, and to really see and feel the support that's there in the circle. For those of you who are already in the membership circle, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I just really deeply appreciate everyone bringing their full hearts and also their full capacities to support each other. And it really is a circle. I mean, there's a lot offered by Jen and Francis and by Ellie and I, but it really is a community where everyone is supporting each other on their healing path.
Yeah, thank you, Moon. I would echo all of that. And I think what comes to me when I think of the circle is similarly what I've needed as I've been on my healing path. As I stepped what I call behind the stage curtain of normal thinking into harnessing my inner wisdom and my inner capacity to heal, and frankly the magical, mind-blowing nature of being human and being a woman and what's available to us in terms of well-being. I needed my sisters alongside of me, whether it was coaches, healers, friends, peers, to receive me and my knowings, to reflect back that yes, I was on the right path when I knew I was. Yes, I could listen to my body and my inner knowings when I knew I could. And also, I think another beautiful thing about the Women's Wellness Circle membership community is the kind of loving structure that it offers. And I know for myself, when I was really necessarily falling apart, necessarily letting the old me go, and everything that was rising up in terms of symptoms and emotions and everything in that sacred and difficult process, was when I did have a kind of a loving structure. Like I knew there was going to be that session to go to then, or that person who would be there then, or that place I could go and share my truth and be heard. And if you to be a member of the community, and you can either join for a whole year or you can join on a monthly basis. And I'm just going to check my notes here to make sure that I say this adequately, but yeah, so there's the private membership circle on Facebook. There's weekly intention setting ceremony and office hours when one of the coaches is on to answer your questions and support you. There's monthly coaching calls like this. There's, all kinds of things. Online courses. There's access to all of the Women's Wellness Council interviews, the sister program so that you can connect one-to-one with a like-minded woman. And then there's all this extra awesomeness for the next 24 hours. And I don't know, Moon, if you, oh no, do you want to speak to anything of the bonuses? I have them here.
Yeah, well, one of them is a free one-to-one session with either Ellie or myself. That's being included. And there's also a number of meditations that Ellie and I have put together for that. And I believe there's also one additional coaching call with Francis and Jen.
Yeah.
And for the coaching call, it's a little bit different. It's on Zoom, but it's a different format. Like today was a webinar, so we weren't all able to see each other. But for the monthly coaching call, we can all see each other. Now, if you don't want to be on video, you definitely don't have to be. You can call in by phone, or you can be on your computer with your video off. But I really love the monthly call as a time for all of us to be together and to see each other. But that's a choice. It doesn't have to be that way.
Gorgeous. Yes. Thank you so much, Moon. Thank you so much for clarifying that also. And yes, so Joanne, thank you. Joanne has put the links in the chat, so you can see the first link a few comments up is to join for the annual membership, and all the details on the bonuses are there. And if you would rather join on a monthly basis, the link that's just gone up is there. Yeah, Kristen. Yeah, learning to exercise that I'm okay where I am all the time and welcome. Yeah, you're so welcome. And unless you have anything else to share, Moon, I'll just ground us all down with a closing practice and we can finish.
That sounds great. Yeah, I just want to say it's really wonderful being together with all of you around the world today, and all of you who are joining us in from around the world on the recording. And Mariska is wishing everyone good luck cherishing their jewels this cycle. And I really just want to echo that and speak to the power of all of us doing this together around the world. Like, we're all can be working with our jewels for this next moon cycle. And so if you falter and it's feeling hard, you can lean into the space and the commitment of all of us in this circle together. And it just, yeah, I did want to share, we just not quite sure how to pronounce your name, Maiti from Malaysia. So we have a sister from Malaysia. And final comment is from Josephine. Thank you so much, Moon and Ellie, for your amazing support. And thank you, beautiful sisters, for all your love and support. Thanks.
Thank you, Moon. So if you're in a place right now to close your eyes, I invite you to, or just let them rest with a soft gaze. And again, coming to a position that feels right for your body. Bringing a hand to your heart, a hand to your belly. Taking a breath exactly where you are. Allowing the furniture, the ground, and essentially Mother Earth to hold you. Allowing that glorious multi-layered circle of sisters that Moon presented for us to appear again in your awareness. Essentially thousands and millions and billions potentially of women all over this planet walking a healing path. And with your next breath, allowing yourself to feel the belonging and the support of that energetic circle. And with your next breath, taking a moment to acknowledge that you have shown up for yourself in this way for this hour. And to affirm that you've gotten what you need, however this hour has looked for you. And with your next breath, affirming gentleness and self-reverence, just breathing that a little to each of your cells. And then in your own time, allowing your awareness to broaden out and take in any sounds that you can hear. Perhaps bringing some very gentle movement to the fingers and toes if that's available to you. And in your own time, allowing the eyes to reopen to the space. Thank you so much, wonderful women, for being here all over the world. Thank you so much, Moon. If there's anything you'd like to say before we close.
I just want to read what Jerry Ann said, which it is a true comfort to know you are all here. Thank you, everyone. Until we meet again.
Yeah, wishing you all a beautiful rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.